slack right now, so all y'all want to do is have a huddle. Hello everyone, I'm Ariel with Urbanist, and today we're going to ride the New York City Ferry from Wall Street all the way to Soundview, Bronx. So welcome everyone to one of my favorite modes of transportation in New York City, which is the ferry. And the great thing about the ferry is the same price as a MetroCard at only $2.75. And today we're going to ride the ferry at one of the newest routes that was installed a few months ago. I think it was last fall, around there. And it goes all the way from Manhattan, we're right by downtown Manhattan, all the way to the Bronx. Specifically Soundview, Bronx, and that's why this pathway is called Soundview. How's it going? Yeah. Are you guys from the Bronx?
Yeah.
I'm excited to go to the Bronx. I haven't been there in a while.
Come through and show you around, man.
Amazing, man. Any pro tips? What's your favorite place in the Bronx?
You gotta hit the White Plains area.
The White Plains area.
White Plains area. Bars, you gotta hit it up.
Okay, awesome, man. Thank you. So he just mentioned the White Plains area is the best. Okay, so share this video with your friends and family. Let's go on the crazy journey all the way up towards the Bronx. So right now we are embarking from Wall Street. This ferry stop is located directly on Wall Street. It's called Pier 11. It shares the stop with the New York City water taxi. And also another ferry system. I think it's the ferry system that goes also to New Jersey. It's beautiful, beautiful weather today. You probably seen many of my ferry videos. I've done the Governor's Island ferry. I've done the East River ferry many times, going mostly from Dumbo to Long Island City. But today we're going way further up north than we have ever gone before. North in New York City, because I've been to Helsinki before, and that's north in a different way. Well, let's go, everyone. Right over there is the Statue of Liberty. Oh, it's gonna get loud, so brace yourselves. We're right by the gas exhaust pipes. Welcome, Gail. Is the Bronx safe? It is. Bronx has changed significantly. We're gonna see how it looks like. I haven't been to Soundview before, so we're all sharing this journey for the first time. Woo! It's gonna be loud, everyone. Brace your audio. Beautiful view of the New York City skyline, downtown Manhattan, the financial district, mishmash of different architectural styles from the 1970s international style to the Art Deco of the 20s, 30s, and 40s. Right there we're passing Fulton Fish Market. No longer a fish market, but traditionally it was. South Street Seaport, one of the most historic areas of New York City. I'm glad that the volume is fine. Let me know if I'm speaking at a good level. I'm not screaming too much into it. We're passing right underneath the Brooklyn Bridge. Look at that. Oh my God, absolutely gorgeous. This is not the Hudson, this is East River. Right over here is where I used to make many videos. I usually stop here at Dumbo. We're going all the way from Wall Street to Soundview, Bronx. We're going to the Bronx. DABRONX, the Bronx. All right, awesome. I'm glad everyone can hear me fine. Thank God for technology. It has improved so much. Look at that gorgeous Brooklyn Bridge view. Cool thing about going on this route is that it doesn't hug the Brooklyn side too much. So we're right in the smack dab of the middle of these amazing bridges. Manhattan Bridge, Dumbo right below it. Beautiful Dumbo waterfront. We can see the Manhattan Bridge in all of its glory. Right behind is the Brooklyn Bridge. Little tiny boats passing through, also cool. A Bronx Tale, yeah, great movie. If you let me know what's your favorite movie that takes place in the Bronx. Bronx Tale is definitely up there as one of my favorite movies in the Bronx. I also like Rumble in the Bronx, starring Jackie Chan. Let me know what's your favorite Bronx movie. Right there is Vinegar Hill. It's a neighborhood a lot of people don't visit. We visited last year. It was awesome. Check it out. It's gorgeous. I'm so glad I could take all you guys with me. So let me show you views of the ferry. This ferry is a little bit bigger than the other ferries. There's a lot of seating upstairs, similar to the Statue of Liberty ferries. Phil, thank you so much for sharing. Hello, Brenda. Welcome. We can see the Williamsburg waterfront right over there with the newer apartment buildings being built along South Williamsburg. And there's the Williamsburg Bridge. Brooklyn Navy Yard over here. Lots of history. The prison warships were right here during the American Revolution. The views of downtown Brooklyn. We can see the Williamsburg Savings Bank right there, one of the most phallic buildings in the whole New York. Hello, Brenda. Hello, Gail. Danielis, thank you so much for Danielis for becoming a patron. Big hearts for Danielis, also big hearts for Minerva for giving a donation. Ooh, look at this. We're passing by the newly restored park along the East River here in Manhattan side. I did a tour of here about a year ago. You've been to Bronx one time for a few days in 2010. Yeah, as a New Yorker, I don't venture to the Bronx too much. Aside from going to the Bronx Zoo, right here is the Williamsburg Bridge. Probably it is the most biked bridge in America. That means the most amount of bikes crossing on a daily basis through this bridge. Hello, everyone. Hello, Erica. Moises, great live. Is this the Hudson? No. This is the East River. Thank you for sharing, Dustin. Hello, Renee. Hello, Audrey from the UK. Let me know where you're watching from if you're tuning in. Oh, look at the new skyline from Williamsburg. So this is one of the newest buildings built in the lot that used to be a part of the Domino Sugar Factory. That's the historic Domino Sugar Factory, which has been landmarked. I visited Domino Park last summer, and right there's the buildings, one of the new residential high-rises being built. Robbie, how's it going? You're off to the Bronx Zoo on Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday is the best day to visit the Bronx Zoo, which is the largest zoo in America. It's give or take a few square feet next to the San Diego Zoo. Miami in the house, welcome. Gary from Liverpool, welcome. I was just hanging out with a new friend from Liverpool. Watching from Naples, Florida. Ooh, Erica. How much is the fare? $2.75. It's getting windy. Oh my God. So it's very windy. Right with my camera. Look at that. The Manhattan skyline ahead. The Empire State Building. Can we go back to Vinegar Hill? Sure. I'm glad you want to go back to Vinegar Hill. I'll do that. Beautiful neighborhood. The wind is picking up significantly. Right over there we see One Vanderbilt, which we talked about last week for the third year for Urbanist Day broadcast. Hello Najib, nice to see you. Hello Sarah from Newark, UK. Ooh, I didn't know there was a Newark outside of New Jersey. Nice. Here, so you gotta race for 8 years whenever you're coming here. That's the Betts building right there. Right there's the United Nations. So is January a great month to visit? I would say yes, if you are okay with the extreme cold. It gets very cold in New York City in January. It goes below sometimes 0 degrees Fahrenheit. However, it's very empty. And if you want to visit the city while it's calm and empty, Christmas decorations are no longer on, but it's all calm, it's empty. You definitely will encounter snow. Best seasons for months for snow is January and February. So if you want to see snow in New York City, I think January is a great time. I'm going to go downstairs because I'm breathing a lot of these fumes. I didn't know the gas exhaust pipes were going to be so close to the back seats. How's it go? I'm from New York City, from Queens. Yeah, man. Alright, I decided to go downstairs because there's a huge exhaust pipes, and if you sit on the rear part, especially the wind coming in, you're going to be hit with a lot of gasoline.
This is 34th Street.
So let's go on the bottom level.
East 90th is next. This is 34th Street.
Now this is 34th Street. This is one of the other hubs. The two hubs for the ferry system is in Wall Street and 34th. How cheap hotels are cheaper in January too? Oh, thank you. Is there any no-go areas in New York City day or night? Everywhere in Manhattan, below Harlem and below.
Once again, this is 34th Street.
And
the next stop will be East 90th.
Anywhere Harlem or below, I would say below 96th Street, and anywhere in northern Brooklyn, completely safe all times of day. Other places, it gives or takes, but I would say generally anywhere in Manhattan and in northern Brooklyn, you're okay. And many parts of Queens as well. Astoria, you're pretty good as well. You love riding the ferry. Can't wait to go back in November. Amazing view, says Loretta. Loving this ferry ride, says Naomi. Welcome, Naomi. Thank you so much for tuning in. Such fun. I feel like I'm there, says Lou. Oh, Lou, thank you so much for tuning in. And yes, we could go back to Vinegar Hill. If you would like to see Vinegar Hill, let me know. Vinegar Hill is that tiny little neighborhood right next to Dumbo. A lot of people don't go. Maybe we can visit the restaurant there or go to one of the food places there. I want to give a big shout out to the recent supporters that joined in, including Daniele's, Minerva, and there's a few others, Jane, and a few others. So let me know if remind me of your names. But welcome to Jane, Minerva, and Daniele's for becoming supporters recently. Thank you so much. Helps keep Urbanist riding these waves so we can keep showing you all the beautiful cities around the world. Feel free to ask me any questions about this grand city of New York. I'm happy to answer them. Let me give you a tour inside as we go further into the Bronx. George, you say careful how you say vinegar. All right, interesting, George. Maud, hello. Why has it stopped? It's just making a normal stop. Let's go inside. So there is a snack bar, some coffee, Wi-Fi inside here, and also air conditioning in this area of the ferry, which is great. Maud, of course, I'll say your name. Let's go back upstairs. That was a cool shot. So the Empire State Building was right in the middle of those two buildings. 275. This is by far the aside from the Staten Island Ferry, the Staten Island Ferry is the cheapest, being free. This is the second cheapest ferry in the city. A big long shot from the other ferries. Circle line will cost you around $45, $47 to do entire circling around Manhattan. However, you could do half of Manhattan as we're doing today, right now, for a fraction of the price, only $275. Actually, it will be $5 round trip. So I have myself 2 tickets because I'm going to go back to Manhattan. But yeah, you could do it for a fraction of the price. Right there's one Vanderbilt, the Chrysler building right next to it. United Nations building always looks like a huge book. Where did the origin of the name the Bronx come from? It came from a Swedish farmer whose name was Johannes Bronk. I think it was like a Dutchization or a more kind of Anglicization of the name, and it later became, they named the river after Johannes Bronk. It became the Bronx River, and kind of after the years it became the Bronx River, and then eventually the county of Bronx. Especially when New York City consolidated in 1898, Bronx became its own borough. So it used to be kind of like a part of Manhattan, and other parts used to be part of Westchester. This is a good area. Sit right here. So here we're passing by Manhattan. Let me know if you want me to focus on anything. Bring your suntan lotion if you're here going to the top, because the sun will be beaming at you. There's a sailboat. Oh, that's wonderful. That's so cool. And they have a hammock on the sailboat. That's so cool. So right here we're passing by Sutton Place. Now one of the most beautiful parks is right here, located right here. It's called Sutton Place. One of the most beautiful hidden secrets of New York. Right here is the Queensboro Bridge. You might recognize it from the opening credits of Woody Allen's Manhattan. And so also might recognize it from the song, the 59th Street Bridge by Simon and Garfunkel. Because the original name is the 59th Street Bridge. Now it's officially the Ed Koch Queensboro Bridge. Hello, Becky. George, I'm so happy you think this is enjoyable. Oh, look at this interesting building. I have not noticed this one before. Weird brutalist style building. Looks kind of out of a film like RoboCop. Right there is one of the newest super tall skyscrapers being built. It's going to be the tallest skyscraper in all of New York City, Central Park Tower. Hello and welcome, 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 welcome. I'm so happy so many people are tuning in. Nice to see you here. Right here, this is one of the coolest features of New York City is there's apartment buildings up here and office buildings, but right below there's a walkway for the boardwalk, which is awesome. And then there's the FDR Drive, the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Highway that runs north-south of Manhattan on the east side. Did we pass the tram? Yes, we passed the tram. On the other side, we have Roosevelt Island. You probably recognize this area many, many times. I've walked through it twice on live video and then like about 4 times on the other side of Roosevelt Island. So now we're heading up to 90th Street, which is the second stop of this ferry en route to the Bronx. And can I say hi to your daughter? Hello, Sky. Welcome to New York City. Everyone press that heart button for Sky. I love it when families watch together. It's so awesome that younger kids are watching and learning about the history of cities around the world. Press that heart button for Sky. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's keep on looking at the views. Hello, Debbie. Oh yeah, it's very relaxing. Look at this beautiful, beautiful view of 57th Street skyscrapers, the Upper East Side apartments, the Bobby Wagner walkway, which has been restored and I think finally opened all the way through. And you say just made her day. Gail is the Bronx, the poor side of New York. In some ways, yes. There are very expensive areas of the Bronx, and there's huge swaths of middle-class neighborhoods in the Bronx, but the Bronx is also still known for being very poor in certain areas. Here is the Schurz Park, and then you might recognize this, also one of my favorite parks in New York City. Top recommendation on my end, right behind Yorkville. And this park is amazing because you get amazing views. Check this out. Look at these amazing views. Is there a name for the tip of the island? Well, the very tip of the island of Manhattan is the neighborhood of Inwood. However, there's a weird controversy. A little secret of history that a lot of people don't know about. Let me try to go down this way. So now we're gonna go more farther up north than we have ever been before in New York City. We're going beyond the wall. That's a Game of Thrones reference if you haven't watched the show. The very southern tip of the Manhattan Island is Battery Park. That's correct, George. We're going, we might see the northern tip. I'm not entirely sure. No, we won't see the northern tip. We're going the other side of the Bronx. So we're landing to the next stop, 90th Street. Now it's really cool that you can stop here at 90th Street because that means you can visit Schurz Park, which is just a 5-minute stroll around. Yeah, you guys.
This is East 90th Street. Soundview will be next and last. This is East 90th.
So one of the stops here, they changed the exit to the top, which is interesting that these ferries kind of adjust to how the docking is made. They're expanding very quickly. They're soon going to expand to a stop in New Jersey by 2020, so next year. And there is very heavy consideration, I think already plans to make the ferry stop also go around the Hudson side of Manhattan, which is going to be really great news, because that means you can go from east to west much more efficiently in Manhattan, and may potentially go from the Bronx all the way to Queens much more efficiently. Now here we are in one of the most turbulent areas, waterways in all of New York City, which is we're one of the turbulent areas of New York City, which is the terrible waterway that has caused so many ships to crash. The Hell Gate. Right down there is the Hell Gate Bridge. So this bridge is the Triborough Bridge. Triborough because the highway connects 3 boroughs. It was commissioned by Robert Moses, the master planner of New York City, during most of the 1900s. Behind that is the Hell Gate Bridge, and that bright, well, no longer so bright, but red coloring. That bridge is meant for Amtrak trains, and I visited underneath it last year with my friend Aaron as we went to Astoria Park, which is the park right underneath that bridge in Queens. Rosalind, we are right now by Yorkville, which is right after the Upper East Side of Manhattan. After this area is East Harlem, or Spanish Harlem, or El Barrio. If you've been here in New York City in the 70s, you probably know it as El Barrio. But now we're heading up to the Bronx. Yep, Hell's Gate is called Hell's Gate because these waterways are super turbulent. They used to be even more turbulent until the U.S. Army Corps put tons and tons of dynamite to the bottom of the riverbed and exploded all these very sharp rocks that were causing these whirlpools and very sudden shifts in time. Danelies, I'm so happy you visited Astoria Park. Ooh, look at that. We can see Manhattan. Beautiful. Here we can see the view of the Long Island City in Queens. So Queens, Roosevelt Island, Manhattan. Very, very windy. This is exciting. It's a very quick ride because it only takes about 20 minutes to go from Wall Street all the way to the Bronx. Definitely the quickest way to reach the Bronx, especially this area of the Bronx, because by train it would take you nearly an hour to get from Wall Street to the Bronx. We're by Barrio, Barrio, one of the most beautiful areas in New York City. This is an island, actually. This is called Ward Island. Well, actually, Ward Island and Randall Island have been fused together, so they're technically 2 islands. And Randall Island is the home of Governor's Ball Festival, and also electric zoo, if I'm correct. By car to get from Wall Street to the Bronx, I think also will take you quite a while because you have to go up through the FDR, which there might be traffic. So you might take up to 30, 45 minutes. So we're passing right below the Triborough Bridge. Triborough Bridge enables you to walk from Manhattan, from East Harlem, all the way to Randall Island, where you can visit this park. Really beautiful area. And also, I would highly recommend going to Governor's Ball Festival if you're here during early really fun festival full of great indie rock, hip hop, rock, punk, many types of music. Here's the Hellgate Bridge. Now, the Hellgate Bridge might look very familiar to another bridge that is very famous in the world. Let me know if you know what that bridge is. The other bridge is much more popular. This one has been overshadowed, even though it's technically a little bit larger than that other famous bridge. Let me know. What's the other famous bridge that almost looks exactly alike? What is the other bridge that almost looks exactly alike? And there is Astoria Park. Astoria Park is in Queens. It's kind of like the very northern tip of Queens, and we're transitioning into the Bronx. Roy, you are correct. That is exactly the same design as the Sydney Bridge. Almost exactly. The Sydney Bridge actually based their design off this one. This predates the Sydney Bridge. However, the Sydney Bridge is much more famous than the Hellgate Bridge. And a different color. So we see the connection of the Hellgate Bridge is the Amtrak line and freight trains as well, and it continues all the way up. It's a very crucial connection, especially earlier back we go in New York City history. The Hudson River Valley area of upstate New York, and it would be delivered by train railroad tracks and then ferried off into Manhattan until the bridge connections were made from the Bronx to Manhattan. And then Haley's, you were right as well, and Lou, you were right, Harbor Bridge. Is there an old castle in Ward Island? I don't think so. There is a mental institution that was very notorious in the 1970s, but I don't think there's a castle. You might be thinking of North Brother Island, which we may pass. But here we're seeing the views of Bronx. The commuter zoos is crowds. Depends, I think yes. I think they're calling commuters here. The two men that you saw cheering at the beginning were from the Bronx, and they definitely seem like commuters. So there's commuters here. It's not really a touristy route. So what is that island? I actually don't know off the top of my head what island this is. If anyone knows the island, let me know. We're heading towards the Bronx. We're seeing the upper views of Queens. And right there we see the entire New York City skyline. Wow. Look at that. How huge Manhattan is. I can't think, I was watching a documentary about it. Oh, interesting. And I think that might be North Brother Island, though I'm not entirely sure. If anyone can clarify, let me know. And where in America do they have the original London Bridge? Oh, I don't know. I haven't looked into that. So we see a plane taking off right there. That plane is taking off because it's taking off from LaGuardia Airport. So we're the very, very northern tip of Queens, one of the 5 boroughs of New York City. LaGuardia Airport is one of the 2 major airports in the New York City proper. The third other major airport being Newark in New Jersey. So we see another plane landing right over there. And we're passing by Rikers Island, and Rikers Island is the prison that's located, maximum security prison located in New York City. However, it's going to be torn down soon. The prison is being located, I think, upstate New York, and it might turn into condominiums, but no one knows yet. So right there we see LaGuardia Airport. Soon I'll be in one of those planes to Rome 2 weeks from now. Stay tuned. Now, if you continue this waterway, you'll hit Fort Taunton, which we visited about a little bit more than a month ago, and it goes into the Long Island Sound. And Long Island Sound is the waterway between Long Island and Connecticut. And that takeoff was really cool. Hello Gwen, welcome. Nice to see you here. And we can still see the New York City skyline right there in the distance. So Randall's Island was what we saw first, with the Triborough Bridge passing over it. North Brother Island should be these islands right next to it. So here, this should be City Island. Now, all of you might need to help me with the geography because I don't know off the top of my head once we go this far north, and this is a spontaneous broadcast. So let me know, check out the map and let me know what is right above Queens, right above LaGuardia Airport. Let me know what is this. Gerard, ooh, there is dozens among dozens of islands. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but it's well, I think, beyond 20, maybe even beyond 30 islands in New York City area alone. Though they're small, you know, Manhattan being the largest, and Staten Island, then followed by Roosevelt and Governors. here we have arrived to Sound View, Bronx. This is the maximum this ride has gone. This is the max north that the New York City ferry system goes currently. I doubt it will go any further north in the future, anytime soon at least. But one could dream of them eventually connecting further into Long Island or Connecticut. That would be amazing. Further south it goes is Far Rockaway. If you want me to do a Far Rockaway Facebook Live, let me know. If you want me to go to the ferry the other way around and go down the coast of Brooklyn into Far Rockaway, Queens. No, I'm looking at the Bronx right now.
Ready for the Bronx?
Yeah, indeed, yeah. Can't stay for around, but to go back up? Okay, all right. So I don't intend on staying here because I have to be back in the city. But they do require you to stop off and then go back around. So you do need a round trip ticket. You can't stay on the ferry to go back to the city. So let me know if you have any questions, and let me know. Do you want me to stay live to go on the round trip back to Manhattan? Let me know. Press that heart button. Let me know. No, I'm not. There's not too much to see here, and also I don't have enough time. Sound View is mostly a residential area. There's only pretty much houses around this area and a small little waterfront, so there's not that much here. So yeah, there's not that much here, so I'll be going back onto the ferry towards Manhattan. Let's do this.
Hey, buddy, now you got a ticket. Please do me a favor. Line up behind this gentleman. Line up behind this gentleman.
Lou, yes, I'll take you to another place in the Bronx that has a little bit more to see. There's not so much more to see in this area. Let's go back upstairs. And I did Arthur Avenue, extensive tour of Arthur Avenue last year. So stay tuned, watch that video. Oh, look at that. I'll go here. So we're seeing almost the entire Manhattan skyline from downtown Manhattan to midtown Manhattan from this perspective. It's very unique. Yeah, it's a very quick ride. Be sure to already have a ticket purchase. You can use the app and buy a return ticket. Use your phone. But if you want to take it just for a return trip, just to take in the views, do it. And you don't need to get off at the same exact stop. You can get back off at, say, 90th Street and visit East Harlem and Yorkville. This is magnificent views, especially with the planes passing overhead. Wow. I never seen Manhattan from this perspective. Oh, that is just magical. That's the perspective you get if you're flying domestically in the US. So if you have the pleasure of doing a transfer in Atlanta or I'm not sure where else, LAX, if you're maybe traveling from Australia, you'll most likely see these amazing views as you're landing your plane here in New York City, in LaGuardia. So let me know the geography, what island this is. It is, Phil. I did it, the only time I really remember was doing it last year, as I came from Maine and I landed in LaGuardia, and it was magnificent views from Maine. So say goodbye to the Bronx. We are leaving Soundview. Very residential neighborhood. I don't think there's really much here to see. Francis, you say that's College Point. No, I don't think it's College Point. I think College Point is a little bit further into Queens. College Point should be the two neighborhoods after LaGuardia. Robbie, that's a great Spider-Man reference, that Electro was held at Rikers Island. I think a lot of Spider-Man villains are held at Rikers Island. I think it's a recurring location, because if I'm correct, even in the Daredevil comic book series, I think Kingpin is also held at Rikers. I'm going to be nice and toasty once I get back to Manhattan. So feel free to ask me any questions whatsoever. We're basically going back down to Manhattan, down to that beautiful city skyline we see over there. Let me know if you have any questions about New York City or about travel in general. Temperature right now in New York City is a warm 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Pretty low humidity today, high winds. It's pretty nice. barely a cloud in the sky, some overcast in that area. There's cup holders here. That's good if you carry around your coffee. Now, if I'm correct, I think they sell Stumptown coffee inside the ferry drip, which is pretty good coffee. And also, if you take the Far Rockaway ferry, they sell beer as well. I think beer and wine. So it's a great kind of ferry to take when you're going for a beach day trip, especially during the summertime. Danielle's, you would love to live in New York City with so much to do and see. You know, that's a very interesting comment. And yeah, there's so much to do and see. Many New Yorkers don't actually take as much advantage of it. It might be because they just don't know what else is out there. But I'm glad you're watching this show. And if you ever do have the chance to visit New York City for a prolonged amount of time, you get ideas of things to do outside the beaten path. Or Danielle's, you can also bring your own beer. I don't think you can sneak it in, but it's technically not allowed by law to drink on public transportation if it's not sold by the transportation itself. That's also the case with the railroads. So I would advise caution with it. You might get a fine, but since there's no police officers here, I think you can get away with it, maybe. Hello, Arlinda. Danielle's, you say the same cases in Miami where a lot of locals don't go to all the sites. Yeah, especially in that area of Florida, there's so much nature-y stuff to see. I don't know too much about Miami, aside from having a very sizable Latino population, but I can only imagine that there is awesome stuff to see and eat over there. Maybe people are not taking full advantage of. Look at this huge electric plant. Right in the very tip of Astoria, Queens. Lou, you were like that in London when you left and returned. And you were a tourist in your own town. That was awesome. You know what? I was in London for an entire month. I did about 40 videos over there. And by the time I finished, a lot of my London friends, because I stayed with one particular London friend of mine and a few others that I met on the way, they all told me that I visited neighborhoods and sites that they never even heard of before, and that by the time I was done with my videos, I knew more about London than even they did, living there for many years. So I highly encourage coming to this park if you are if you're here in New York City for a while, or you're a local. It's a beautiful park to visit. If you're traveling here, it might be a little bit off the beaten path, but it's absolutely gorgeous. Very quiet. This is a very residential area of New York City. Lots of, basically all residential. But further down is Astoria, Queens, where you can visit the Museum of the Moving Image. And right here is basically what looks like, it's basically Harbor Bridge. Harbor Bridge was built right after this bridge, and they were directly inspired by the same design of this bridge. Daniele's, you say, lots of beaches and gators in South Florida and Disney Orlando. You should visit my friend's show. It's very similar to Urbanist. It's called Townie Tourist. She's specialized in Florida. Check her out. She does amazing content all around Florida. Very similar to my style live videos. Townie Tourist. That's the Triborough Bridge. Right here we can see, actually never mind, this might be Ravenswood, Queens. Okay, I'm so happy you tuned into Townie Tourist and you can vouch for her. She's brilliant. She really is. I love watching airplanes. Oh, I just love this particular view of New York City. And it's not so off the beaten path because you can come here to 90th Street in Manhattan, take the subway to 81st Street, 86th Street, is it? I think 86th Street, and you'll get these amazing views from Schurz Park of the Long Island City skyline. Probably, I think, among the fastest growing skylines outside of Manhattan. Brooklyn skyline is growing as well, but I think this one might grow to much taller heights than even what we see in Brooklyn. I was saying 20 years, look forward to that skyline being as tall or even taller than Manhattan. Mark my words. But seriously, mark my words. Can't wait 20 years from now. I would love to see if I am correct. So no, I'm getting off here because I want to show this little stop over here at 90th Street. Also, I want to go Schurz Park for a nice little break along the shores before I do another freelance job later tonight. Phil says I'll be a TV star by then. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not entirely sure. Oh. Thank you. Thank you. No problem. Excuse me. All right, my hair's windswept. We just got off the ferry at 90th Street. Let me show you a little bit about 90th Street and its close proximity to the park. But before I do, let me give you a quick overview of how to buy tickets and how to see the schedule. So here it is. So in every single stop for the ferry, you'll see this layout over here. All of them are usually covered and there's benches as well, so you can wait. And here is the schedule, weekdays, and it also runs on the weekends. 9 p.m. tends to be the last ferries out, and the earliest ones are close to 7 a.m. both weekdays and weekends. and they pass every 30 minutes. Oh, that's a pretty good pace. Right here, there's up-to-date information. Also, you can download the app called New York City Ferry and get very up-to-date information as these boards, so you'll know exactly when to board. The ferry could be 10 minutes late sometimes, so be wary. It's still not the most reliable system yet. This is the pathway. So we just went to the most northern part of the ferry system, which is Soundview, Classen Point. This is the East River. We saw North Brother Island, Rikers Island, LaGuardia, and we passed through Astoria. You can also take the ferry to Astoria, Queens, which is really great if you want to visit that beautiful park and go to the Museum of Moving Image in Steinway. Also go to the amazing Brazilian cafe that I recommended on my broadcast last week. And we took this route, but if you want to go to the very south, the most southern point is right here, Rockaway. Rockaway runs only during the summertime, if I'm correct. That might have changed. That's the ferry we just boarded on. So you can go as far down to Rockaway, but you can also go to Bay Ridge. Bay Ridge is southern Brooklyn. Now the cool thing is, going on the Rockaway, you can see views of South Brooklyn. If you want to see a Rockaway broadcast, let me know. I might do it next Saturday, so let me know. Press that heart button. Let me know if you want to see a trip to Rockaway before it gets too cold and fall weather to see the beach. Now let me show you how the machine works. You can buy tickets either with your phone, downloading the app. Very easy to do so if you have an American credit card or a Visa or MasterCard. But if not, you can use the machine. The machine right over here, very easy to do so. They don't have other languages, so you do have to know English. But if you're watching the show, you probably really know English. One way. However, you can transport with the bike. But if you're coming with the bike, you do have to pay extra. Only $1 extra. You can buy here tickets, number amount of tickets. Put your card in here, and you're done. And it comes out right down here. And there we go. Also, actually, one more pro tip. Every station also has every dock also has these maps which shows you the nearest subway stop and also the nearby streets. So it's very easy to kind of figure your way around. New York City is a grid system, so it's very easy to figure your way around anywhere you are in Manhattan. In the Bronx, it might get a little bit more hairy. But if you're in Manhattan or Queens, it's fairly easy to kind of navigate. So now let me show you Schurz Park as we walk around. George, you can't get to Coney Island on the ferry yet, which is a shame. There should be a New York City ferry to Coney Island. It would be really great if they expanded it there. Have been to Coney Island many times on live video. Check out last year, I did a HD broadcast in Coney Island. Watch out for bikers, because some of these paths, they combine it with biking paths. They should designate it a little bit more different. No, okay. It's as you saw right here, I couldn't stay on the boat, on the ferry. I had to actually use a different ticket. So when we got off here today, I had a ticket. I bought one ticket to go up to the Bronx, and I bought another ticket to come down here. And so I used two tickets. You can't hop on, hop off, and there is no unlimited pass. There's only a monthly unlimited pass for $121, which I think is a bit expensive for the ferry system. But yeah, you have to pay individually. And there's no like child prices. I don't think there's any senior citizen pricing. Straight $275. All right, let's go to Schurz Park. Oh yeah, George, I've done so many Coney Island videos. I've done one on the history, one just walking around in HD video. So this area of the park is currently under construction. So soon it'll look a lot nicer, the connection. But you'll see how easy it is to get to Carl Shores. And people are saying yes for Rockaway. Okay, so stay tuned for Rockaway. I'll announce it when I go. The Bronx Zoo. Oh, the Bronx Zoo I have visited on Facebook Live, but not on Urbanist. So if you were a fan of my show before Urbanist, you might have seen my Bronx Zoo live video. I might return. It's free on Wednesdays. I think it's worth it to go on a Wednesday. So this is the FDR Drive, which we saw from the distance on the boat, north-south, connecting all the way to the Bronx. And here we are in Yorkville. Done the tour of Yorkville before. Is Far Rockaway near Coney Island? No, it's a much farther actually away. It's maybe a 20-minute drive away. Far Rockaway is pretty far away, hence the name. It's located in Queens and not in Brooklyn. So the subway is 5 minutes, a little bit longer, about 10 minutes walking distance away. And right here is Carl Schurz Park. And this is Gracie Mansion, the great White House of New York. This is where the mayor lives of New York City, currently Mayor de Blasio. I did a tour here, impromptu, with a fellow urbanist who bumped into me while I did this tour, and she actually is a docent for Gracie Mansion. Gave me like an in-depth tour of its history. Check that out. It's beautiful.
My security guard was selling crack cocaine to my students.
Found a little toy car over here. Probably belongs to one of the kids playing. New York City's all-time favorite mayor. Oh, George, you know I won't get into that. Every mayor has its pros and its cons. We're all human beings. And here we are, beautiful Carl Schurz Park, people having picnics, birthday parties, and probably one of the most beautiful views. Well, I say that for a lot of parks, because a lot of the parks do have amazing views. Oh my God. There is a horde of dragonflies right over here. Oh, so cool. They're all flying above this little area. Let's take a closer look. Admire nature whenever you're walking around. I think it's beautiful to do so. So someone earlier asked, I forgot to answer, sorry about that. He asked if Bobby Wagner was named after the actor Bobby Wagner. No, it's named after a son of a politician in New York City. So Actually, it was named after a politician in New York City, who was also a son of another famous politician. So no, not named after the actor. But soon Bobby Wagner Way is going to continue up through East Harlem. But there's currently construction, and that's why it was hard to walk around from the ferry to here. But soon there'll be a direct pathway. And Max, you say that's an actual police car. Yeah, I'm being sarcastic. It looks like a tiny little toy car. I used to have like toy cars when I was younger, when I was very little, and they were like that same shape. But here there's a bunch of dragonflies. It's hard to catch them, but let me know if you see them on the video. They're all zipping through around here. Oh, so beautiful. Dragonflies that for many years didn't venture to New York City, but the past 7 or 8 years they've been coming back a whole lot around the coast, and as I mentioned before, they've been venturing in even towards inside the city. Similar to the honeybees of Paris. So in Paris, there's a bunch of honeybees. There was for 100 years, maybe around there, or for many decades especially, honeybees were almost virtually non-existent in Paris. But now Paris has the most amount of honeybees. And the same thing is happening with New York City. There's more bees around, more dragonflies have come back after being basically non-existent for many decades. And you're even starting to see more fish and whales further out in the Hudson, further closer to the sea. But maybe we'll get to a point 20 years from now when skyscrapers taller than Central Park Tower and One Vanderbilt are covering the Queens skyline. Maybe we'll get to a point where there's whales on the East River. Crossing fingers. That'll be such a beautiful sight to see. My favorite word you use, bunch of. Oh yeah, is that a very typical American thing? Do they use it in Europe? I do use that word a lot, but let me know if they use it in Europe. Right over there is the New York City Ferry. It's actually disembarking from Astoria. George Burns and Gracie Allen. Ooh, where are you referring to, George? And what is it called? Oh, you're referring to why is it called Gracie Mansion? No, it's not called after the first mayor. This mansion was made into the mayoral house with Ferrello LaGuardia. It was highly encouraged by Robert Moses, who was the Grand City Planner of New York. In essence, he was the most powerful man of New York City, even though he never had an official elected governmental position. He was merely a parks commissioner, but he held more power than even the mayor himself. He was even reportedly as powerful to the point where he had the direct ear of 5 different US presidents. Anyway, Robert Moses convinced the mayor to move into this mansion named after, I think it was Archibald Gracie, if I remember correctly. I did a full history video of it a few months ago. Who was a very old New Yorker family. The mansion, I think, was empty for many years, and Ferrello LaGuardia did not want to move in because Ferrello LaGuardia was kind of the people's mayor. He was an Italian-American immigrant, and he lived in the more modest home in Harlem, Central Harlem. Did not want to move up here where it would be more stuffy and kind of out of the way. But Robert Moses is a very convincing man, being so powerful. So Ferrello LaGuardia decided to concede, and he moved here to Gracie Mansion, making it the White House of New York. Now, how did Ferrello LaGuardia, was he convinced by Robert Moses? Well, this was right around World War II. And right around World War II, there was threat of the Germans invading New York. If the Germans invade New York, you of course need to have the mayor in good protection. just in case the mayor has to make decisions. You don't want to have a mayor under danger, and then who do you get orders from? So that was the reasoning behind making Gracie Mansion the official White House of New York City. Now, one cool thing is right below our feet, reportedly there is a tunnel that leads from Gracie Mansion all the way out to the water, to a little kind of dock for a boat to disembark, just in case there's any emergencies. Lou, you say yes, we say a bunch of also in Europe. Okay, cool. Not much in UK except for me, an urbanist. Is Moses buried in New York? You know what? I don't know that. I would say most likely yes, or in Long Island, but I'm not 100% sure. You know, that is a great question. If anyone knows, let me know. A little seaplane passing overhead. And yeah, there's a dog park here. There's a lot of dogs here all along the waterfront. And lots of people reading in the park. And James Bond probably uses that tunnel. Indeed. Well, James Bond is I think, more based in London, fictionally speaking. So I'm glad this is opened up again. It was closed for a while because they were renovating the walkway. But now you can continue walking down. I think you can continue walking down all the way towards the Manhattan Bridge, if I'm correct. There might be still construction around the Queensboro Bridge area in Sutton Place. Oh, Max, you used to walk here a lot when you were in Tudor City. And Lou, thank you so much for letting us know. Robert Moses is buried in Woodlawn Cemetery. Awesome. Okay, thank you for letting us know. Right there is the Octagon, another very famous building I talked about in Hidden History. Oh, this is amazing. Such a wide road here, or pathway. Oh, Gail, you say Mount Nebo. Interesting. Oh, I wonder what's the actual location. So we can barely hear it, but the Franklin Delano Roosevelt Highway is right below us. Lou, you live in Cyprus. Wow, it's midnight over there. Oh wow, thank you so much for tuning in that late. Oh, I cannot imagine living in these apartments over here. How can someone live right here? It's like right in front of the public pathway. or even right here. No privacy whatsoever. This is a really interesting perspective. First time I actually been on this particular pathway. Wow. Gail, you say no way you can live right there. Yeah. Oh, no way for me either. I mean, there's something cool about, let's see if there's a, oh, there's no balcony. Imagine if there was a balcony right over here and you can just easily jump this fence and have the walkway to yourself at night. That would be cool. However, I'll be worried about people coming the other way around. I gotta take a swig of water. Just make sure you have your curtains shut, indeed. Ooh. I am much more tired than usual because I've been carrying around my heavy camera gear in this huge bag. It looks small, but it's heavy. The reason I'm doing that is because the way I make a living is being a freelance filmmaker. So I just did a job in the morning and now I'm going to do another job at night. But in the meanwhile, I'm showing you these beautiful views. Alright, let me know if you have any questions. And here's the ferry passing through again. Gail, you love your curtains open. Likewise, I cannot imagine living in a place where I have to keep my curtains shut all the way through.
Okay, bye-bye. Are you seeing?
Let's wave at the people living in those apartments. And yeah, so officially you can continue walking potentially always Sudden Place to the little park. So I recommend doing that. Or you can rent yourself a city bike, which I think is also around like $2 maybe around there. And you can rent a city bike and also a bike along this path up and down Manhattan along the East River. If you want to lend your support to Urbanists, if you enjoy these videos and want to see more of these videos across New York City and across cities around the world, you can become a supporter right down there, pressing that button or the link in the description. By becoming a supporter, you also get access to 360 videos a month before they're posted publicly. And you can think of it as giving me a tip for giving you these history videos and these wanderings like today in order for me to continue paying for the data costs, the transportation costs, and any other associated costs with making these videos as frequently as possible. Or you can leave a one-time donation, especially for this Rome expedition 2 weeks from now, October 7th through the 24th. Stay tuned, 12 days in a row of Rome. PayPal.me/Ariel Vieira. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I really appreciate it. And I hope you enjoyed this broadcast, and stay tuned. Later next week, we're going down to Far Rockaway, Queens, to see one of the best beaches, in my opinion, in New York City. Keep being awesome and always keep on exploring. Have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everyone.